Hello, middle school. If you can hear me, give me a smiley face. Alright. I hope that brought a smile to your face. If it didn't, I want to give you an idea of something it might. Yummy maple syrup. You guys like maple syrup? I sure hope you do. That's what we're going to be talking about right now in the next few minutes, is maple syrup. Oh, that is so good. You can't believe it. Anyhow, the maple syrup that you see here in my hand came from this tree behind me. The tree behind me is a sugar maple tree. And for the last dozen years or so, I've been making maple syrup from this tree behind me. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. You can do this at your homes. In order to make maple syrup, there's not a lot you need. It's really quite simple. You need one of these, called the spile. Let's see if I can get in here close. Right, spile. All it is basically a tube. As the weather begins to warm, all you need, as I say, is a spile. These come in different styles. I have a whole bunch of these. This particular style of spile. Some have hooks for a little pail underneath, and some I've removed the hooks from. You can find these at hardware stores. You can find them online. eBay's where I got a whole box full of these things from some lady in Canada. What kind of tree? What kind of tree do I need? You can look for a field guide on trees, North American trees, and you want to look up trees in the maple family. Okay, I hope you can see that. Okay, maple family. You're looking for a sugar maple. The scientific name is Acer saccharum. Leaf configuration. And if you find a lot of leaves like this around a particular tree, you can be pretty much assured, yep, that's a sugar maple. This is what you want. It doesn't hurt if you tap the other maple trees and catch their syrup. The sugar content of the sap won't be as high as in a sugar maple. This is the kind you want. What you're going to do is you're going to take a spile and you're going to drill a hole. The tree back here, probably you can't see it, but I've been tapping this tree for about a dozen years. You put a hole in it about the diameter of the spile, and again, depending on the particular spile style you're using, you might be making holes at different diameters. Okay, so you could measure that. Ooh, look, measurement. All the math people are smiling right now. I got math measurement in there, right? Okay, so I'm going to drill a hole, not in this tree right now because it's not quite time. The timing of when the sap begins to rise is part science and part magic, part mystery. You have to have nights when it definitely freezes and days when it thaws. Where I live in southeastern Pennsylvania, not too far from Philadelphia, my season will begin at the end of January, beginning of February. You really have to watch your weather as to when you're able to catch the sap as it's rising. It comes up capillary action up through the roots, pumps up through the trunk, and eventually out into the branches at the top. The big one, I can put about 2 or 3 spiles into this tree, won't do it any harm. Once you take the spile out, when the tree stops pumping, you'll notice, because you won't get any sap from that. Once it stops pumping, you can take this out and the hole will heal over. It's just like a little scar in the tree, just like you'd get in your arm or something. Doesn't hurt. So then, if you can tap a big tree like this, how small can you go, right? Because you're looking for trees now to tap. If you're going to tap the tree and not do it any harm, you want to try to get a tree with a diameter of about 10 inches. 10, 12 inches, it's safe to tap. Anything a little smaller, I would shy away from, wait a few years. When you're rendering the sap into syrup, the only thing you're really doing is boiling off the water. You're boiling off the water in the form of steam. You're going to heat this up on a stove, create enough heat under there, you're evaporating the water into steam, turning that, so there's some more science for you there, right? Conversion of from a liquid to a gaseous state. But what you're doing is you're boiling off all of the water, and all that's left is the sugar. All right, we're back here at the back of the truck. my handy dandy pickup truck. Okay, so you're going to take a spile, and it acts like a straw. Tap it into the tree. You want to have it on a downhill angle so that the sap flows downhill, right? There's no pumping involved here. So you've got to think of gravity being your friend, all right? When you go to put this spile into the tree, you're going to have to drill a hole. I use a portable drill, and I have a piece of wood here that I'm going to use to demonstrate this for you, okay? You take your drill, remember you approximate the angle, you can measure that out, get a drill bit of sufficient size. Hopefully I guessed right. And now I'm going to come in at an angle and open that up. Let's see if I got this right. I'm going to get a hammer. There you go. That's all there is to it. Now, on a good day, if I come out and do this, sap will already be dripping out of here. It's that fast. It's amazing. So what do you do to catch the sap? Well, when I first started to do this, I started using milk jugs. All right, regular old gallon milk jug. And I would cut a hole here and slide this on so that it's all the way in. Drip, 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 drip. Fills up, fills, and at the end of, well, actually, on a good day, when the weather's just right and working with you, this will fill up by lunchtime, right? Wiggle this off until I can get it off. Turn it upside down. Open the cap. Fill up the big pot I'm using, right? And I would end up getting all up and down my sleeves and spilling everything like that. So what I do now is, you know, I thought about it. I hang these upside down. I hang them upside down, and then all I do is turn the cap off, and it just pours right in there. No fuss, no muss. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to look at the cross section here of the spile, a wide sort of semicircular, but I have a ridge here. Okay. Now let me get one that doesn't have that hook on it. Here we go. Same idea. Okay. You can kind of see the shape. I take and I'll draw that onto here. I won't draw it straight in here because I don't want this sliding off at all. So what I'll do is I'll angle this and then put my drawing on here. I'll cut through the plastic carefully, and then when I slide this on and hang, it locks in place. If you can imagine that, right? Okay. So I'm going to take a Sharpie marker here, and I'm going to eye this up. And that's about right. So try to put the Sharpie marker back in the spile. It's going to look something like that. So I get my handy dandy Swiss Army knife, and I'll carefully make the necessary incisions, and and there we have it. Okay, can you see how it'll hang? Right? Right? Take that off. Whoops, that one fell inside. Easy enough to get out. There we go. And I can put it on here, just like I did with my practice one, and hang, and there it is. Alright, there's nothing to that. Be careful if you're using a knife, make sure you're under adult supervision, or let your parents do it, and you can laugh at them if they cut themselves. That's all I wanted to show you. Hopefully you can see the steam coming off of these two pans. One of them is a tall pan, and I'm going to see if I can get the camera to show you what that looks like inside. Okay, you can see that bubbling. I hope you can see that bubbling away. And notice the steam. What's the steam? It's water being turned from a liquid into a gaseous state. So that's all you're going to do. You're going to just boil off the water, and what's left is, ta-da, maple syrup. It's fantastic. What I've learned over the years doing this, I used to use this pan here when I first started, and it would take a goodly number of hours, 3-4 hours, for a pan that was maybe this full of sap to boil down to what is just syrup. The trickiest part of this whole thing is when you get down to the very bottom. You will have a surface. This pan here. Well, let me talk about this pan here. In either case, because this will apply to either case. This pan has a broader boiling surface, so I'm able to evaporate the water much more rapidly. With all of this comes the caution that when you get down to that last, it's not much, a 1/4 of an inch, last 1/4 inch of liquid in here, you really have to watch it very, very carefully, almost non-stop. And what you're looking for is the entire surface to be covered with small diameter bubbles. Now, you can see in this one, I have a lot of big bubbles. When this gets down to where it's almost syrup, that surface will be covered with an entire coating of small bubbles. At that point, you want to cut your heat and really watch it. You want to let it evaporate just a little bit more. What will happen is, if you walk away right at the end, in an instant, all that hard work goes up in smoke, literally. Black smoke, because it'll burn in an instant. Indians in Pennsylvania used to put their syrup, I think Native Americans used to, turn this over to colonists when they first started arriving on our shores, and Native Americans used to put it on snow and make the maple syrup, render the maple syrup and put it on snow and eat it like if you imagine, like a snow cone, right? Kind of cool. So anyhow, you want to be very, very careful when you get right down to the very end here, because your syrup your sap can go from syrup to black and charred, smelly mess in an instant. And my wife really doesn't like it when I fill the house with black smoke and the smell of burned syrup. Plus, I'm not very happy about that either. I really feel bad when I do that. But it happens. It happens. You have to be very careful at the very end. So that's about all there is to it. You just have to make sure you select the right tree, sugar maple, right? Look for the leaves, classic maple leaf shape. You want to put a spile in. I'm going to turn these off while we're talking. I don't need to scorch these pans. You want to make sure your spile goes in about maybe 1/2 inch into the tree, and you probably want to put the holes about 3 to 4 feet up the trunk. The other thing that we didn't talk about while we're outside that occurs to me now is when you're looking for the tree, if you get to like this level, when you select your tree, tap the south side of the tree where on a nice clear day the sun is going to be shining, right? You don't tap the north side, tap the south side of a tree. So you can wait until like 1 o'clock, noon, 1 o'clock, locate where the sun is, and in these winter days that's about where the south side is. So keep that in mind. The other thing you can do, look up into the tree. If you happen to see any big heavy branches, big thick branches, think about it. Those branches are going to require sap to pop the buds out and have leaves and everything else. So the sap is going to naturally want to go up to where those big branches come out. So tap under that, tap into that sap that's rising to go out on those big branches. Email me, Jay Ford, and I'll answer any of your questions. If you think you really want to do this, really want to do this, send me an email. I have a bunch of these spiles. I can mail one out to you. For the first, dozen people or so, I might have spiles, extras. I was thinking of YouTube, because you can go on YouTube and look up maple sugaring maples, making maple syrup, all those different things. The other thing is, there are a lot of nature conservancy groups across the Commonwealth that offer classes, demonstrations. At this time of year, look at your local parks and things like that. We have a lot of sugar maples. They're out there. Go out, hunt them down, get permission if they're not on your property, and give this a try. All right. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this segment of our assembly. Thanks, middle school. See ya.